have like, welcome to the San Juan City Commission special called meeting at 6 p.m. Today, February the 2nd, 2016. If we can all rise for an invocation. Mr. Arjona, can you lead us in an invocation?
Dear Lord, we're meeting today to conduct matters. Please guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Pour your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source, guidance always and today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. We can face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You all may be seated. Before we get started with the next item on the agenda, I'd like to extend a welcome and congratulations to our new Commissioner, Place 5, Pete Garcia, who was sworn in yesterday. And also to Mr. Villalobos, who is our City Council. Welcome, Mr. Villalobos. We're now moving into public comments. I have a Rick Ramirez. because of flights, folks leaving town, and others requested ahead of.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the commission.
Good evening.
Today, we have a guest from University of Texas RGV. We have Dr. Stephanie Alvarez, if I can call Dr. Alvarez to the podium. What you see here on this,
Here in San Juan.
yes, she's also one of our coaches. She volunteers
That's
for
correct.
all of our sports. And Dr. Alvarez has proposed a project that she wants to partner with the city. Dr. Alvarez is responsible for spearheading the swimming pool mural that was done a few years ago. And her and her students through the Mexican American Studies program have this idea that they'd like to do at Mayfield Park. And that's what we're bringing forth for you today. This is actually one of the renderings that they're proposing. Now, why a mural? Some of the questions that people may ask. Well, we talk about the significance of it, and a mural is often an opportunity to give an oral history of a city. In this case, the rich history we have at Mayfield Park, with sports being an integral part of the community. I know many people here participated within our sports programs, went through high school here. Our high school has a rich tradition of sports. And it allows us to have some oral history and some representation of our community that's told through art. This group has done is that they have gone out to the community, and they've actually had some community feedback, and a significant part of the project is to have some community involvement with the mural project. And again, we have our great partners in UTRGV that have gone out and done surveys. They've interviewed people, and that is what is kind of molding this project as far as the ideas that have been brought. We're bringing you today. It's a student-driven project. They have 3 professional muralists that would be working on the project. We are going to be, if this is approved, we're going to be having community contributions. We already have some private donors that have already committed funds for the project. They're also shooting a short documentary. They have one of their students who's doing a video, and again, this will be something that we'll be able to pass down, for the next couple of decades, that will tell us a story and a history of San Juan. With that, I will pass the microphone to Dr. Alvarez so she can give you a little bit better comprehensive idea of what this project will consist of.
Very much. As Mr. Ponce said, my name is Dr. Stephanie Alvarez. I'm an associate professor of Mexican American Studies at University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and it was a real honor a few years back to work on the Bracero and Migrant Farm Worker mural at the facade of the swimming pool. And it was a real honor because it was a real tribute to the community and a gift to the community of San Juan to give for many generations to come. And what we really enjoyed about it is that thousands and thousands of children would grow up with that mural and ask, what is that about, to their family members? And then that would generate conversations between the children and their families about what is a farm worker? Or for those who are farm workers, to see themselves reflected in that. And so, students at UTRGV want to continue this tradition of muralism, which is really a Mexican tradition and a Mexican-American tradition. And so in speaking with Mr. Ponce, he said, we really want to do something at Mayfield Park. And I said, well, I have students that would really like to continue the mural tradition as well. And we really enjoy working with San Juan. And I enjoy working with San Juan, and I work with the city of San Juan as a coach. And my daughters have been participating in sports in San Juan since they were in first grade, and they attend school in San Juan at Reed Mock Elementary. And so I want to give back to San Juan, and we have students working on this that want to give back to San Juan as well. And so what we are doing here is, on top of bringing a mural to Mayfield Park, what we did is we collected over 100 surveys of community members and children that participate in the San Juan Parks and Rec and their families to see what they want in the mural. And so the renderings, which are still drafts, reflect what the community wants. And so that's an integral part of it. And the other part, as Mr. Ponce mentioned, is we are collecting oral histories about the community and sports. For example, I'll just give you one small oral history, which we haven't even delved into, that we found while we were surveying people. And this is from a co-volleyball coach of mine. She said, you know what, my tío told me before the east side and the west side of San Juan were totally divided. They hated each other with a passion. But then they brought pony baseball, and there could only be one team. There could only be one team. And pues ni modo, we had to try out. And that pony baseball team ended the feud between the west side and the east side of San Juan, because we all had to come together and cheer for the one pony baseball team. And so when you see the rendering, you'll see how that pony will figure in it. So that's a general idea of why we want to do this and how this whole thing came apart. And so one of the things that I did is I asked some of the girls if they would come up here that are participants, young girls, to say why they would like to see the mural. They're going to speak very, very briefly.
Sure.
So,
And welcome, girls. Tell us what school you go to. Your name and what school you go to. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Emily Perez, and we go to Dr. Reed Elementary.
Okay. Tell us why.
them why you want to see, why you want the mural.
I want the mural because this is my first time being in sports. I mostly been in art, and at home every time when I have problems, I go to my art class. I go to my art room, and when art doesn't solve my problems, I go outside and play basketball, and it helped me solve my problems. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for sharing.
I'm Julie Martinez, and I go to Dr. Reed Elementary. I want younger and older boys and girls to be inspired when they look at the mural and think to themselves, I want to join in a sport, but I have to keep my grades up. For example, I've been playing basketball, volleyball, and softball for the past 2 years, and I've been trying to keep my grades up. So I believe that the mural will inspire kids to do better in school if they join sports. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amaya Martinez, and I go to Dr. Reed and Mock. I've been playing sports for 2 years, and I love art, and I always look forward to my practices in sports, and I loved the last time we did a mural in the pool, and I thought it was really fun. So I think when they see the mural at Pony League, they'll be really happy and like it, that they are in sports and inspired by it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Tatiana Martinez. I go to Reed Mock Elementary, and I hope that when kids and adults and people of all ages will be inspired by the mural and figure out what the true meaning of sports is about. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, girls. Let's give them a round of applause. Brave and with great opinions.
So lastly,
What grade are they in?
Emily, Amaya, and Tatiana are in 4th grade, and Julie is in 5th grade. And Julie was on the all-star softball team last year.
Congratulations. Did a great job, girls.
And so lastly, I'd just like to invite Corina Carmona. She is the lead artist directing the artistic design, so she can sort of introduce the concept that she's developed.
Sure.
You can go through the slides.
Oh, okay. Hello, I'm Corina Carmona. I'm a
Hello.
local artist.
Welcome.
And so, okay, so this is the existing structure. Now, some of the designs are on different walls, and we're taking all the walls everywhere. And so here we have one of the things that the community wanted to see was students and people succeeding in education. Education was going to be a big thread in the artwork. So we also have families. They wanted to see families, which are represented by different colors, and this side of the wall in particular is going to have is going to be available for the community to participate in. So we want to have students or kids put their hands on there. Now, the other wall. Huh?
There's a revised one in there.
Okay, yes. So, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm skipping through them because some of these have been revised. So this one, we wanted to have a depiction of the ancient Mesoamerican ball game to tie into the cultural heritage. And of course, we wanted to honor the Pony League. So this one takes it through time. And also there's another story that talks about a little girl hitting a ball over the Anzalduas Bridge that we also wanted to honor as well in this artwork. And you can also see the shrine in the background because you've got to have representation in the artwork. Now, this one's sideways, but in the two-story building, we wanted to have all of the sports represented, and as well as, I hope that the next one is, yes, there it is. Okay, this one's also sideways, but we have the icon on the lower left-hand corner, which is representing movement. And it's the ancient symbol for movement, and then all the sports are being represented there. And of course, education and connected through sports, and we have all of the figures in the background that are cheering them on, and you also have education represented with the world and the apple on the columns, and then you have also the farm workers, which is in the back, that are cheering them on as well, and the messages in the clouds will be "Si se puede." And okay, and this one is also, we wanted to honor as many sports as we could fit on this wall, and of course the iconic image of La Virgen of San Juan that is watching over them, and you have all ages and both genders represented here as well, and different types of sports. I think that might be the last one. Okay, yeah, this was a different rendering of the same wall, but some of the items in there are integrated into the other ones. So this one was the first one that we had. The different symbols on the right-hand side, you can see the world, the apple, the graduation hat, and La Virgen again over the ancient ball court, and then the girl hitting the ball on the left-hand side. So those were some concepts. So these are all still concepts that we're going through, and we're hoping to finalize it soon and get it going. Sure. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. When we had this project back in, I don't remember the year, 2012 maybe? Dr. Alvarez brought that concept here, and I think what I want to commend you for is how you get the community involved to tell you what it should mean and what it has meant and what it has gone through and the stories and the history. And I'm hoping that you're archiving that and that we can maybe have copies to archive in our library, the stories that you are getting together, and then as you put it together, the description and the meaning of the symbols, so that whenever, as our students come to try to understand, and the rest of the community, what was behind it, I think that would be really wonderful if there's a possibility that we could do that.
Yes. Actually, one of the projects that we are working on is, we actually have a whole 2 classes devoted to this project. And one of the projects is, like Mr. Ponce said, is we are doing a documentary on this. This is Arnulfo Segovia over here. He's our documentarian, and he does very professional work. But one of the other projects that we're hoping that we can accomplish by the end of the semester is to develop an app that will actually talk about all the murals in San Juan and describe each of the murals, the one at the swimming pool, this one, and the 2 murals at Lupe as well, the one outdoors and the one indoors, so that it would be an app that you touch and select the mural, and it would describe the mural for the city.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And just as a point of, to make, and I know I've heard it from the staff, and especially our folks that take care of our parks, that it's very common to see buildings be tagged. And you see it, you can paint it, and before you know it, it's been tagged again. But there's been great respect for the art and the story told at our swimming pool that we've been definitely blessed that that has not happened. And I think because of that, there's really a respect for the art that is coming. And I thank you for choosing us again through your program to come back to San Juan and continue looking for other walls in the future.
I have a couple
Go ahead.
questions. Mr. Ponce, how many participated in this survey?
They had over 100, about
100?
100 surveys, correct?
Yeah, 100 people.
Now, how are we going to determine what mural would go up there? Is it going to be, are the citizens, are they going to have the choice, or does it come to the commission? These are the ones, you know, how would that work? Okay, can you please?
Last time, the artists asked that they just be given the freedom to develop the concept, and that it was a sports mural, and actually, we didn't even show any kind of concepts. We just said, this is the idea, and this was it, you know, and just base it off of, you know, the feedback from the community. So, I mean, this is pretty much it, what we're doing. This last one here is not one anymore. There's pieces of these in the other ones. And we have a couple of those other ones are a little bit more well-developed, but
You're not painting all of them,
oh yeah, all of those are going up.
but here in San Juan.
Yeah, those are all going on each of the walls of the Mayfield Park building, yeah. So this is pretty much, there wouldn't be much change than what you're seeing now, except maybe colors. Yeah.
So you're looking at this project starting, and what is San Juan supposed to do? And
Well, Mayor, essentially, we're trying to get as much private funding as possible. The university is also doing some in-kind contributions. We have some already dedicated money. Our part would be minimal. The overall project would probably run between $5,000 to $6,000, of course, and that is including the in-kind and the contributions that we're seeking out. Some of it is, and in comparison to the project that was done at the swimming pool, which I believe was above $30,000, we're going to try to do this. There's some minor repairs that need to be done to the building. Our greatest expense for the city would be to sandblast the building. There's been layers upon layers of paint on the building, and we kind of did that. We said, well, there's a few different colors under here, and you know, we need to kind of clean the building to give them a clean shell. And that would just really require the rental of the equipment, because we would do the labor, and everything else, the cost would be fairly minimal. We do have some money in our budget for repairs, for painting, but we're trying to keep our costs as minimal as possible, trying to get private donations and contributions to finish the project.
Now, would this be completed right before the baseball season, or?
No, it wouldn't be completed till about May. That's the goal. Now, as far as the baseball season, it really wouldn't be we wouldn't be interrupting the season, because the work would primarily be done during the day.
Oh.
Because at night, obviously, they can't work, and our majority of our games are in the evening. Plus, we would set a perimeter around. We would schedule and set a perimeter around the facility when they would be playing. And of course, this is just for Mayfield. We have the other parks that we use. Our really primary, the only task they would have is to schedule accordingly for the snack bar and for the restroom. Other than that, the public doesn't go to any other part of the building. The rest of it is pretty much for us.
Thank you, Mr. Ponce.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much and for bringing your group also, and the young ladies for coming and sharing your stories. Looking forward to it taking place. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am now pulling out of order item B, presentation on the Hidalgo County MPO Run, Ride, and Share Program by Veronica Whitaker. She is a commissioner in McAllen, and Hidalgo County MPO Ride and Share Committee. Mr. Pons, Mr. Jaime, and Ms. Whitaker, if you want to come forward.
Mayor and Commissioners, good evening. My name is Rene Jaime. I'm the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. Taking into consideration that recently the MPO has approved funding for a hike and bike trail connecting San Juan, FAR, and McAllen, we met with the McAllen Run, Ride, and Share program, which is Veronica Whitaker, the City Commissioner of McAllen, is the president of that committee. And we also have the MPO Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, Michael McNews, the vice president. They're here to speak about their program and the success that they've had, and they've also gone out and done outreach with other communities in Hidalgo County to discuss how we need to share the road with pedestrians, people on the bicycles, and runners. Thank you.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for entertaining with me this evening. That's very sweet of each and one of you. Anyway, the Run, Ride, and Share program started in April of 2014. Why did we start a program? Because if you'll remember, prior to April of 2014, 8 months prior to that, in those 8 months, we had 3 fatalities just within the city limits of McAllen. And so a lot of people were asking, what can we do? How can we reduce these fatalities? How can we educate drivers? How can we educate those who are on the road to make sure that everyone on the road is respected? Well, I started a Run, Ride, and Share program, and I am proud to say since April of 2014 to today, we've not had a fatality. We have had an accident, but we have not had a fatality. I don't know that now, because there's so much out there, that people now are more aware of the runners and the riders and the cyclists and those who are driving, but something is working, and it's working in a positive way. And so what I have done in the last 2 years, I went to Mission, McAllen, Edinburgh, Weslaco. I did go to Hidalgo, which refused. That was prior to this week. And I also now am here with you all this evening to ask to become a partner. What is going to happen if you become a partner? I have signage in all those different cities that have the Run, Ride, and Share signage on the roads. They have bike lanes to make people aware that there are areas that the cyclists are supposed to be in, and also the runners are supposed to be in. Also, our drivers are supposed to respect those areas. And so as we're out on the road every day, as we do programs, as we are trying to educate, we are trying to let them know that bike lanes work, helmets work, armbands work so that you can be seen at night, reflective vests work. And not only, I'm not blaming just the drivers, I'm blaming our cyclists because they need to be well equipped. A lot of times I'm on the trail and I see 2 or 3 or 4 of them riding on the trail without a helmet. And I do stop. I said, sir, you need to take care of yourself and wear a helmet. It's very important if you get hit. Just this past Sunday, a lady just went right in, because they're either on the phone, which now McAllen has a no texting while driving, and which we need to also enforce to make sure that everybody is paying attention. A lot of people are still putting their makeup on. Our phones are really big distractions. And so, again, not only am I blaming the drivers, but I do blame our cyclists. They need to be well equipped, they do need to be respectful, and they need to make sure that they are seen and they are also following the rules of the road. McAllen, Edinburgh, Weslaco, Mission, and hopefully, and FAR have become partners and have promised to, like I said, they helped us with funding, they helped us with the signage, and they've helped us with the bike lanes. Commissioner Cantu, Eduardo Cantu, came to a meeting, had a meeting with me to make sure that what he was going to implement in the trail that he's going to put, I believe, from way over here in Sioux Road,
It's on Ridge Road.
Yeah, but it's going to start where in San Juan? It's
On
going to
Ridge Road from San Antonio going out to
San Antonio all the way to 2nd Street and all the way down 2nd, and eventually it's going to end up at the university UTRGV, which is an amazing route for everybody because now they've got a trail, which means that they're off the road. MPO is a partner. What has MPO done? MPO has helped me with decals because we do have Run, Ride, and Share stickers for those to put on cars to also to educate. Just say, where does Run, Ride, and Share? People ask all the time. They have helped us with helmets. Metro McAllen has helped us with helmets. What have we done with stickers? What have we done with our armbands? And what have we done with our helmets? We have educated over 2,800 children between McAllen, Edinburgh, and Mission with bike rodeos. We've given away bikes. We've gone to the schools, spent the day there with these children. Fifth graders don't even know how to ride a bike. They're very scared. They were not taught, and they don't know the rules. So this program has also helped to educate the kids, our kids, so that when they do get on the bike, they know exactly what they need to do. They know exactly that they need to wear a helmet. They know exactly that they need to wear some type of reflective garment so that when they're on the road at 6:30 in the evening, they can be seen. They also need to know that they cannot ride in the middle of the road because they do take the danger of getting hit. So we have educated over 2,800 people. We've given out stickers. We have tested. We also have the partnership of the McAllen Police Department that has also gone with us to each one of those bike rodeos and has taught the children all the rules and roads of the road. So I'm here this evening to hope and ask that you all will consider being a partner with our Run, Ride, and Share program. I still have Harlingen and I still have Brownsville to go. Once we become the strongest cities in the valley, I am going to San Antonio, and I've already contacted TxDOT in Austin because we need to be heard, because our southern part of Texas probably has the highest amount of fatalities or casualties or even just accidents because of our surrounding area and those who don't respect each other on the road. So does anybody have any questions or concerns on what we're trying to do or educate?
First, I commend you on doing this. I know that McAllen has definitely taken the forefront, and I admire the bikes that you have available throughout the city.
Yes, we do.
To continue to enforce that and more than anything, another way of transportation. There are some funds through the MPO
Yes, there is.
that I'd like to also take a look at for consideration. Maybe we can talk about that.
The only drawback to MPO's money is it has to be a federal road. It cannot be a state road or a city road. And so that's why they have taken on the responsibility of helmets and stickers. We have been granted twice now with TxDOT, different grants. And because of the different money that all the other cities have, we do have funding. McAllen was kind enough, that is my project for the city of McAllen, and they were kind enough to give me a line item so that I can spend to continue to reduce the amount of casualties and fatalities, not over in the McAllen, but in the Rio Grande Valley. If y'all are aware, we're cyclists are on I Road, we are on Military Highway, we are over in Granjeno, we're really everywhere. We're on Jackson Road, we ride all the way to Monte Cristo. You will see cyclists Tuesdays and Thursday evenings at 6:30 and only groups of 50. You will see cyclists on Saturday mornings starting at 7 o'clock either at Burger King or Corner Bakery, and they ride 30 and 40 miles. And they use, like I said, Military Road all the way to Brownsville, or they use Military Road and go all the way to La Jolla and past La Jolla all the way to Hadachino Road. But we are out on the road all the time. And so that has been my problem with MPO, but as long as I have helmets and stickers, brochures, and other things that they can fund for me, because I'm not on a federal road, it's very difficult to get funding for a federal road, I'm able to go that route with them. If you've got a trick, I'd love it.
I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions from members of the commission? We thank you for the presentation,
Okay.
and we'll definitely take it into consideration.
All the other cities have done anywhere, so that you're aware, anywhere from 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 to 5,000. And has, like I said, I do have a line item within the city. So it is a full-blown program, and we've got about 25 members from the different areas of the city: engineering, police, TxDOT,
Sure.
chamber, and everybody else involved, UTRGV. So thank you guys for your time,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave this with you.
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitaker. They
really are cool.
I thought you were bringing a helmet.
We have them.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'll put these these here, make sure we get everything right. The other items that were going to be pulled out of order will be under the contractuals. And I'd like to, Mr. Arjona, would that be under 8A, B, and C, is that correct?
It is correct, ma'am.
I'd like to call then item A, under item 8, consider authorizing the city manager to purchase an Odyssey Corrado refuse unit from Rush Truck or FAR, Texas, a buy-board vendor in the amount of $322,657. Ms. Gonzalez.
Good evening, Commission.
Good evening.
On November 10th, 2015, the Commission approved an ordinance authorizing issuance, sale, and delivery of City of San Juan tax contribution taxes and limited pledge revenue certificates of obligation series 2015, which included the purchase of a sanitation front loader in the amount of $283,000. I thought about the vehicle, and I had heard at one time that there was a truck that, or a sanitation garbage truck that's 2-in-1. So I took the opportunity and asked for bids. I do have the vendors here, if you have technical questions. Instead of me just going over my agenda item, I'd like to show you a little piece of what it looks like and what it can do. Sure. The only thing you're going to see is not so much the front picking up, but the side, because this is a front loader that will pick up commercial and a side that will pick up residential. Now, this is picking up at a pickup dump rate of 8 seconds. It can load 9 to 11 loads before it dumps.
So 11 of the garbage
9 to
cans
11.
will go into one.
And you can see the front end loader is, the front end is there. It's coming down. Now, if you don't want to use the side loader, you just take that little piece of hopper and that off, and you have your front loader. And it's a lot faster than what we have right now. No, not yet. Not yet. It's ergonomically, my understanding is ergonomically made for the drivers.
Is the driver standing up?
But no, I think there's a seat there, Mayor.
Now, the front, it becomes a front loader, you would have to remove that contraption?
Just the side, just the, what I'm gonna ask, who's the one, George?
Could you be on the route and be doing residential and then come upon front loader?
I don't think so, Mayor.
No?
No. This is George Gutierrez from
Highland,
Rail.
Texas.
Hi, Mr. Gutierrez.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for having me. This front loader, basically, you remove that Corrado can on the front. You've got a hydraulic line, an electrical line, and some 2 chains, and basically you can set it off to the side in a safe location, pull the unit back out of it, just like you're loading in a dumpster.
Okay.
Basically, just pull away from it, and then you're back to running commercial units until you need it again. Then you go plug it back up relatively quickly, and then go back to picking up automated.
I thought, I gave it a lot of thought, Mayor and Commissioners. I thought this would be a great idea because we had 283,000. You're getting 2 units in one. If the front, it's commercial, you're picking up commercial, and say it's not commercial, it's residential day. And when something happens to one of the other vehicles or the other garbage trucks, you can use that as a standby. as a side loader for residential pickup. Otherwise, you have, like I said, you have your front-end loader and your residential. Now, the only difference between those, the two having two and one is $39,657 for two vehicles. And that would come from the, we would do a budget amendment through the solid waste fund if it meets with your approval.
So then, we would primarily use it though for, as a front loader, right? For
Whatever
the
you,
for
yeah,
commercial.
whatever,
Primarily for the
yes,
front loader.
you could
Right.
use, right.
Because the current front loader is needing some repair, or we just need more front loader, or how are we doing with that?
Yeah, additional, I mean, the one that we currently have does not have the, I guess, the capacity to pick up the containers. So, if I'm not mistaken, we only have one of them, and it's,
Do we have one or two?
one front loader. And that's really not enough for, you know, for the whole city.
This would be for the commercial accounts primarily,
Yes.
and then residential, should
Right.
we need a backup?
On a day that we don't do commercial, and if something happens to one of our side loaders, residential, we can pick up with that front loader.
And have we taken over the commercial accounts already, all of them?
I wouldn't know the answer, I'm sorry.
Okay, who would know that answer?
There's still some accounts that we need to take over, especially one that we need to pick up the garbage for 5 days, 5 pickups. And there's a
Yes.
bigger container. So we need this machine in order for us
To be able to take that
be
one
able
on.
to take that container.
But would you say, what percentage would we, of our commercial accounts are now under the city? Or, I mean, there were some folks that had private companies. How many
It's
do we?
not that many, it's probably like, I can say 5 to 6 accounts.
Okay, great. Very good. And so the money is in the account, is in the fund, it's a healthy fund?
Yes,
And we would just be making up a difference, a deficit of about 40?
39,657.
Very good. And how quickly can we get that? Would that be available?
We'd order the truck, Jill, so 6 months, and then about 60 to 90 days after the truck's received at the factory. And these trucks are built in the United States, Fort Payne.
Any questions? Thank you very much. I'd like to go ahead and, if there are no questions, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item following that is the F, consider, no, not F. B. Let me go back. Consider authorizing the city manager to purchase a side loader from the Rush Truck Center of FAR, Texas, in the amount of $251,678. Ms. Gonzalez.
The city manager had requested, because our vehicles are so bad, our garbage trucks, to purchase another, to try to get quotes to purchase another side loader. I went out and received 2 quotes. I want to say, Mayor, that the dollar amount that we got for this is extremely good, because they don't run $251,000. They run a lot more. The next higher vendor was 54, and that's because he gave me a good rate, 254,000. So this is a 2014, but it's brand new. There's no mileage, there's nothing on the vehicle. And my understanding that it's in the shop, right? They have it available. And this also would come through the solid waste fund.
And this is the same company, the buy board
Yes,
vendor?
yes.
If we're buying a couple of units, do we get more discount?
Well, that's what I did, Mayor. I got
This is a
6,000.
discount?
Mm-hmm.
There will be no charges for delivery or anything like that, will there? Okay. And I do agree with what you're saying. I know that we had a visit with the departments, both departments over at the Public Works a few weeks ago, Mr. Juan and I, and that was definitely one of the things that they spoke about very adamantly, about the need to make sure that we could stay on a route and days. And I know that we have just advised the public about the scheduling. So this too will be able to make sure that we are staying on schedule as per the new days that have been offered. Again, what's the timing on this? Is that the same amount of time?
No. This one, I think it's in the shop.
It's in the- That one's in the shop, right? You
Right, I
mentioned?
think-
So,
I would say about 60 days, because it's
Great.
already at his plant.
Very good.
All he has to do is put it in the shop and start putting everything.
Excellent.
It takes two different vendors, both buy board, to make one unit, one garbage truck. So we've got a real good deal. It has warranty, 1,000 miles bumper to bumper, 2-year warranty on the engine, and 3-year warranty on the transmission.
That is excellent. Any questions from the commission?
Yes, ma'am.
Ed?
I know Mike had put an item similar to this back when we were discussing the budget. Was the cost the same, Chief? Do you remember? I'm sorry, I'm talking to Chief Gonzalez.
Commissioner, I don't remember, but it was in that area of 365.
They're a lot higher than,
I was hired.
yes.
All right. And the money wasn't available at the time?
I think that was when we were doing the bonds, or the loan for $4.something million. I can't recall if it was available then, but it was in the process. I think we were still in the process.
And you did a great negotiation then, if that was the case.
It is, they're a lot more expensive than the
Excellent.
251,000.
Very good. There are no other further question. Is there a motion
So
for?
moved.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item C, consider authorizing the city manager to purchase a Schwartz Model A7 street sweeper from Hale of Texas, San Antonio, Texas, a Houston Galveston Area Council vendor in the amount of $188,000. Ms. Gonzalez.
Again, George from Ohio came over and showed us a street sweeper. This street sweeper is not only a sweeper, it also can double as a Vector truck. So when they're sweeping, if something gets caught in the drains and that, they can suck out whatever's in there. He gave us an excellent price, because these run $240,000. Am I right?
220.
Oh, 220, I'm sorry, I gave it a little more. He gave it to us for $188,000. It's an excellent, excellent machine. He brought it out, the city manager and the mayor looked at it, and it's a good machine.
I want to ask you about one of the contraptions that it had was the having the sprayers for killing the weeds. Is that this? Is it included in this one? This is not the one. Oh, that was a different company. Was it based on price or what?
I looked it up, Mayor. I looked it up because I think you were the one that told me, right? That you can get this machine for $3,500.
Okay.
No, he didn't. Schwartz did. You could put the machine on top of in the front of the vehicle, and the day before, you spray. Instead of having the guys shoveling all the time, you spray the weeds. The following day, you come and you just sweep them up.
And that is something that's included in this, or is it something separate?
That's different, Mayor. A different company altogether.
So you don't offer that in this?
Not to my knowledge, this is the first time I've heard that. Sounds interesting, though.
It definitely would be.
It sounds like it's just a bolt-on, so.
Yeah, it is just in the front. You can take it off or put it back on.
Okay. Very good. And now, tell me about the other sweeper that we have. Is there any possibility of that sweeper being rehabilitated so that we could have two sweepers going or making?
The last time I understand, Mayor, that it was, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if they.
Is Mr. Soto still here?
Yes, he's.
Mr. Soto, can you come forward, please?
Evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soto.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the sweepers that we do have?
We took it one to Dog, and it was about $10,000 to fix the motor. That's only the motor, plus the hydraulic on that broom don't work either, so that's what's,
So the estimation for getting that fixed is,
we don't know, it's about,
and how old is that machine?
well, it's about 16 years, something like that.
And the other one?
Well, the other one is older, it's about 20 years, 21, 22 years.
So they're both down, Mr. Soto?
Yes.
How long have they been down, do you know?
Oh, about 4 to 3 years already.
3, 4 years?
And did you get to see this machine, Mr. Soto?
Which one?
This one?
The new one?
Right, the one that they're
Yes.
proposing?
Mhm.
Okay. And did you think that was sufficient that we need in the city? We would work well? And I know you had looked at different ones.
Yeah, I looked at different ones, but it'll work.
You satisfied that this one is something that would help us?
Well, for sure, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Soto.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Do y'all provide the training or the orientation for it? Okay.
Once we deliver the truck, we'll stay with the operator for however long it takes. We'll stay with the operator for however long it takes for him to feel comfortable and for us to feel comfortable that he's going to take care of the city. So it usually takes about 2 days.
Very good.
And then we're also down here, so if we have any other issues or any, the operator has questions.
You would be available.
We'll follow up with him. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And then we have a sense of what upkeep and replacement of parts and all of that, so that as we're purchasing, we also know how much more we would be having available to
Right.
keep it running. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mayor, and the parts are minimal compared to, what we had before in that, but they are minimal too. They should last.
Very good.
And what's the timeline for this machine here?
Once we receive a PO, we can have it to you within 2 weeks. And Mayor, to go back to your question about parts, you do have a 5-year warranty on some of the mechanical hydraulic motors and stuff on that truck.
Very good.
And we'll go over that with you.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion for approval?
Second.
Is, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go back to the, under presentations. 1, a presentation and update on the Elora in conjunction with Hidalgo County Precinct 2. Mr. Arjona.
Yes, Mayor, Commission, good evening. Unfortunately, the precinct 2 couldn't be here, but they did send me an email on it. The contractor has already been awarded. The only thing they're waiting on is on the final contract as approved by legal counsel. Once it's approved, they're gonna place it back on the Commissioner's Court. And then right after that, right after the approval, which they're hoping that it'll be maybe in the next, maybe next couple of weeks at the most, once they meet at the Commissioner's Court, it'll take maybe 10 days before they actually start with the construction. So we're looking at the latter part of February, starting, working
But
on
this
Elora.
month?
This month, yes.
All right, just keep us updated. I would appreciate that
will.
on where this is at. Under item C, presentation on the final budget report for Noche de Paz, Mr. Ponce.
Mayor, members of the commission, we're bringing forward to you today our final expense report that we have for our Noche de Paz event. What we did is we, as I previously had come before you, we had shown you what was done in 2014. These are the numbers that we've compiled for 2015. And if you could scroll down just a little bit. I'm sorry, if you could scroll up just a little bit more. Yeah, let's go all the way to the top. I'll start from the top. What you see there at the are total expenses. Okay, there you go. Our total revenues for the year, for the event itself, came out to $25,566.35. Now, if you notice in comparison to 2014, the things that we did is we charged an entrance fee for the first time, and we also collected a percentage of revenue, a percentage of profits from the vendors. Now, unfortunately, I guess to bring that to the forefront, as you recall, it rained that night, and it started raining probably about 7 o'clock, which is really our projected peak time. and it really affected our numbers. So in a nutshell, we had less people attend our event this year, but as far as total revenues, we brought more money in comparison to last year. We also did that by cutting down on some of our expenses, but we projected if it had not rained, we probably would have seen a profit in the event for the first time. Now, we have filed a claim with our insurance company. We did have event insurance in case of rain. Of course, they denied the claim, but we've asked legal counsel to appeal, and I think we have to get with Mr. Villalobos to follow up on that and to follow up on that appeal. And the event was insured for $60,000. We're hoping to recoup some of that money because our headlining act was not able to perform, and our co-headliner performed, I believe, like a couple of songs.
Did they give a reason why they denied?
They said it didn't rain. There wasn't significant rain. Being wet that evening, I know for sure it rained. And the actual setup with the musicians, one of their keyboards was damaged. It's a very expensive keyboard, and after that they refused to play. So by contract, the performers still had to get paid, and of course, after it started raining, obviously we had people that started leaving the event early, and many people were waiting at the actual box office to see if the band was going to go on or not. And so we do predict that if we are able to have our event, and use the example of Cinco de Mayo that's coming up, that we should hopefully make a profit. And we're trying to cut down our expenses. We're seeking out sponsors, and we're adding some new items for the Cinco de Mayo. Essentially, it was a very good learning process for us on how we could improve the event and be a little more cost efficient, and how we could try to. And we're not doing this to make money, but we're trying to do it so we can, essentially not lose money, and then provide, at the same time, provide, a premium event for our citizens. So if you do notice, that is kind of what the revenues that we had. If you can scroll down a little bit, Denise, show some of the expenses. These are some of the expenses that we had. I do want to point out that there's some expenses that we incurred that were really more, there were expenses, but we'll be able to use some of these things again. Like we purchased some credit card readers, those we'll be using for the next events. There are some other things that we did as far as infrastructure. We bought some fencing that was going to go, that we did to close off the park. We'll be able to use that again as well. We had a better estimate. We had a more approximate estimation of overtime and scheduling, so we will not dip into so much our overtime funds. That was a great concern, because there is a lot of the city employees actually work the event. So that's something that we're trying to get under control. If you could scroll down a little bit more. And I'll give you an example, like the small tools and equipment. If you see that line item right there, those are things that we had to purchase, various things for the event that, obviously we won't have those same types of expenses for the upcoming events. Those are things that we didn't need, things that we built out that we can use for coming events. So if you scroll down all the way, please. This shows our net profit, our net loss, in what was actually budgeted for the event, and it shows with the overtime and without the overtime, and what being able to create a little more revenue and not have as many expenses, it allows us to be able to use those funds for our upcoming Cinco de Mayo event, and that kind of shows essentially the balance that we have remaining out of the 45. So we plan to use those funds for our Cinco de Mayo event, and to try to recoup some of the revenue that we lost through the rain out, and hopefully again build a little more of the infrastructure for the future events.
You said budget without time and budget with?
With overtime, yes. And that's because the.
Explain that to me.
Well, because we're including the overtime, even the overtime comes from a different, a pool of money,
I
different
see.
line items. That's budgeted throughout the year, for every department has so much overtime.
Okay.
Out of the hotel motel tax, we get our budget for the noche, for our special events. So essentially, even though we expense the overtime, our budget for the special events, it's not affected by the overtime. So we just wanted to reflect that, because the overtime is significant for the event. So that leftover, that revenue that we didn't spend doesn't allow us to add to our Cinco de Mayo.
And now, the Cinco de Mayo, you're going to incorporate some of this, also the fees and the fencing and
Yes.
the vendors, and so you're looking also ahead of
Yes.
time to.
Yes, we're already in the planning stages. We've been actually planning for about the past month already. We're working on contracts. We're looking on vendors. We've learned from kind of what we didn't do so well for Noche de Paz and things we can improve on as far as the layout of the event and how we can have better crowd control. So those are things that we're going to take into consideration while we're doing our next event.
Any questions?
What do the vendors do? Do you know?
Some of the vendors did fairly well, some not so well. What we did is that I think we had too many vendors. We had some duplication, and also what really hurt them is the same thing was the rain. With the rain, peak time again from 7 to 10, so the bands are there, and I think that hurt some of the vendors. What we've discussed is with our vendors in mind is to cut back on some of the vendors and not have so much duplicity in some of the items that we're selling, so they can make a better profit. But at the end, we had close to 50 booths that were selling items, and some did fairly well.
Mr., I know that, the system was rented, messed up production, and I looked at it and they didn't have no cover on it. For me, if I have a 10,000 out there, I would put some shade on it. I think so it's no excuse that it gets ruined. We pay for a service and it's not provided. And we are telling people that Mafia is going to go on and Milo Navarre is going to go on, and we don't deliver. It's just an excuse. And we got to be more creative and make sure that when we contract these people, that they are responsible to provide some kind of shade. Sometimes they put those mixers underneath the stage and they cover them, because I'm not going to let it out there. I used to run the band and bring some bands before, and we don't allow that to happen. It's just an excuse. They got insurance, and when we make deals with them, we got to come back and tell them, hey, last time you messed up because your thing did not function. You did not provide the service that we were asking. So hopefully they can do a better deal for us. I know that we paid some close to $6,000 for that system, besides $1,700 for the generator. And that's a lot of money for somebody just to go out there and say, hey, it's not working. To me, sometimes that becomes an excuse for the artist not to go up and stage. So keep that in mind and just make sure that we hold them responsible.
Most definitely, Commissioner. We actually, the city didn't procure those services. That was through the EDC. So we didn't have any part in those contract negotiations or their setup. But the city's going to procure the stage now and in conjunction with the entertainment. So that's one thing that we're taking into consideration, is that the city manager and I have been meeting, weekly on this, that we need to make sure that the stage has some type of cover, because our citizens were willing to go and stand in the rain, listen to the music. It's just that the band couldn't go on.
I had an artist who was playing one time and it was pouring, and we still paid them, and they still wanted to go on and perform, but we didn't have the people out there because it was pouring. And it did rain, and it does get wet. And once the moisture gets into the system, you'll start having cracks and different sounds going on. And I understand a lot of people don't want to jeopardize their equipment, but we're paying here for the public to enjoy themselves, and we're paying good dollars, so we got to take advantage and make sure that we spend them wisely.
Yeah,
Yes,
we gotta get legal involved when it comes to these contracts, because Commissioner Garcia, it's very true, something like this, that's the last thing you want, is for us to lose out on that insurance, because that's the whole point of us paying this insurance, you know, and for them to say, well, it didn't rain. Well, I was there present, and it was raining hard, yeah. So I think we really need to get legal involved in anything we do, something like this. So
Most definitely, Mayor Pro Tem, as we're getting the contracts in, we're going to send them over to Mr. Villalobos for his review.
thank you, Mr. Ponce.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Under item E, consider authorizing the city manager to restructure the Department of Public Works Sanitation and consider the creation of two departments, being the Department of Public Works and the Department of Sanitation, an amendment and classification, compensation plan, and budget as needed. Mr. Arjona.
Yes, Mayor, as we know, the sanitation department is one of the we're looking at very closely.
Get closer to the mic, so
Yes,
even I can hear you.
One of the things, if you look at before you have a handout, and we're looking at the organizational chart the way that it is. We pulled out from our budget book. That's the existing one. If you turn the page over, this is our recommendation, or this is my recommendation as to what we need to do with the sanitation department in order to better serve our citizens. You know, the city of San Juan has been said that it's a small city, but we're not a small city anymore. It's probably one of the largest mid-sized cities. And a recommendation is to pretty much split the sanitation duties and responsibilities, one of them which is the sanitation side, and the other one's on the public side, public works side. We're looking for someone to come in and pretty much take care of the operations. We either find somebody that is good in sanitation, but not necessarily good in public works, or streets department, or alleys, or vice versa. So we're looking at splitting the two departments, get somebody that is highly qualified, or that is real good in the sanitation side, and also somebody else that is highly qualified to take care of the public works. Under the sanitation, these are the divisions that we're proposing to take into consideration, which is administration, of course, central garage, which already it's there, it exists, the brush and the trash, and then the recycling. On the public works, we have, of course, administration, streets and alleys. So those are the duties that we're trying to, split so that they can be focused, sanitation one side, public works on the other. Now, how we're gonna do this, if you turn the page over, these are the staff that are currently contracted under the sanitation department. We're not doing anything as far as adding or reallocating additional funding. Everything is staying pretty much the same. The only thing that we're doing is there's one particular position that it's a receptionist that is getting paid through the general fund, when all along it should have been paid out of the sanitation account. This way, if we move that position in, we don't have to, exhaust our general fund monies, and we're looking at about 21,000. So by moving that position inside, that'll leave us with 21,000 free. So all we need to worry about is maybe coming up with additional monies so that we can get the public works director. As you see there on the very top, where it says sanitation department on one side, public works on the other one, we have a position that is called currently public works coordinator. So this position, it's my recommendation is to pretty much split it on both departments, to oversee sanitation coordinator and public works coordinator, as he's pretty much doing the same thing right now. But let's focus him helping out the sanitation department and helping out the public works department, or director. That one position that we're moving in from the receptionist inside to the sanitation, that position already exists. It's a truck driver, which we're going to eliminate for now. We started with the trash collection this Monday with the different quadrants, and on Monday, yesterday, we finished at 1:30? 1:30, and that's giving it a couple of rounds just to make sure that there was no trash outside on the that was left behind. And this is going on the quadrants. Today, on the southwest quadrant, we finished at about maybe close to 1, and also giving it a couple of runs just to make sure there was no trash left outside. So tomorrow, we're looking at the northeast, and we're hoping, again, the same results, hopefully by 1:30, maybe at 2 at the latest, that we should be able to finish with this, and as well as on the southeast on Thursday. So that will leave us, that's leaving us a couple of hours to mainly wash our trucks, lubricate them, grease them, oil them, whatever needs to be done.
How many trucks do we have running?
Right now, 4. Well, there's 6 of them, because we just using 4.
4.
4.
And how many, and that's separate and apart than the front loader that we're using, correct?
Right,
The front loader has its own routes. So we have 5 on the road. Okay, we have the 4 on the routes, the front loader. Gotcha.
And what we're trying to do, Mayor Commission, is that every other week, if I'm not mistaken, what we're gonna do is rotate the trucks. So whatever was outside on one week, the following week come in and lubricate, fully work on those trucks, and hopefully better maintain those trucks, trash trucks. And we'll go to the next one, to the next page. The Public Works Director, the difference when we hire that position, if you allow us to do that, we're looking into getting that account from the stormwater fee. On the left side, we have the estimated revenues. Currently, we're collecting about $20,700 a month. This is our third month, Mr. Garza. So we have about maybe 62,000 at the account currently. Yearly, we're supposed to bring in 248,000. Now, let's keep in mind that with the street sweeper, that's what we're paying our street sweeper with the stormwater fee, which is about maybe 10,000 plus a month.
And that was by installation, right? By payments?
We're
By
gonna
payment,
borrow
yes.
the 108.
We're borrowing from this fund?
From the sanitation
From the
account.
sanitation fund?
And we're gonna pay it back through the stormwater fee, which we're gonna be paying on a monthly basis, $10,433, I believe, for 18 months.
So does it, and when we look at budget-wise, we're just really looking at reallocation, we're not looking at creating new money? It's something that's in existence, we're just
Correct.
shifting, I guess, or moving to the appropriate account to fund that, okay,
Reappropriating monies from one account to the other.
okay.
So we're not hitting the GF, the general fund
Good.
account at all.
Very
Now, the
good.
stormwater fee was set up for that particular purpose. It was for purchase of equipment, labor positions, staffing, and, the asphalt materials. So this is where we're getting the materials from, the additional staffing
The two that they're proposing,
that we're proposing, yes, ma'am.
okay.
On the right side, we have the total estimated expenses. We're looking at about 203,000. That's including our Public Works Director, and I have 61% there because if we were to hire a Public Works Director now, we're probably missing about 61% of the whole salary. Since we're moving that position from the receptionist in, we have those monies allocated. And plus about maybe 60% depending when we hire the person. Because we're looking at maybe the latter part of March, April, May, and all the way to September. Now, next fiscal year, we can either look at it a couple of ways. Either we keep on hitting the stormwater fee, or do we budget it from our general fund? Now, there's a few items, just to mention a couple of them from the IT department, that it's about maybe 52,000 that we don't have to incur next year or the years to come. So those monies are gonna be there, available for this particular position.
Coming from a different area, different department.
Different
you're saying,
allocation,
that
right.
that is funded through the general fund.
Right, that is correct.
So we would be able to make that change in the upcoming
Upcoming
budget?
fiscal year, yes.
Okay. Okay. And so, aside from, and that's, what's the total on that? 52?
Well, it all depends on the comp plan, whether we're looking at 50, 45, 52,000? Yeah.
And so, let me go back to some of these. No, have you finished? Or
No, I need a couple
Continue
of more
going.
things.
I'll ask you as I'm
And
going on.
if you see the next one is a street sweeper, we'll probably be paying in one fiscal year 125,000, which we're gonna have a balance of maybe another 6 months, which is gonna tap into the next fiscal year. We're hoping to finish paying this sweeper hopefully by next November. And then at that point, on a monthly basis, we're gonna be recurring those 20,000 or the 10 additional $1,000 that we
They got
don't
paid
have
off.
to pay. Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
On the stormwater fee as well, when we set up the account, there was also the fact that, staff positions. So we're recommending a couple of them. That's to go over to streets department. We currently have 2 staff doing potholes, repairing the streets and stuff, which we don't feel it's enough. So we're gonna go in there with recommending a couple of more positions so that we have at least a crew of 4 on the streets, street repairs. There's one that is currently, there's an open position for the, what do we call that, the other one, the street and alleys. So we're hoping to, right now we have 2 in street and alleys, 2 in the streets division. So we're hoping to get 3, 1 group of 3 at the streets and the alleys.
So 2 in street and 1 more in the alley?
Yes, sir. So that'll be 4 and 3. Yeah. And then hopefully later on, as the city grows and then we get additional funding, maybe we can increase to 2 crews per, 2 in streets and 2 crews and alleys.
Now, the companies that we have contracted for streets and alleys, how are we doing with that?
You know, I visited with Mr. Cervantes, and what they're doing at the alleys, I mean, it's just an absorbing amount of money that we're pretty much throwing out. And they're not keeping up with the cutting of the grass at the alleys.
You said throwing out, why would we be doing that?
Well, it's that we're not getting the time that is there, and we're not efficient enough in taking care of that.
We or the companies?
Well, the company, not us.
Okay, so
us.
the company has a contract, have we ended the contracts with these companies, or what?
We got quotes for the
Right,
alleys, and we selected a contractor, and we hired them to start mowing the alleys, but it's very expensive, and I only have 34,000 in the budget for mowing of weedy lots. So if we had continued hiring the company, I would be out of funds by this month. So we suspended from the moment we got the first bill, which was $4,000, we suspended hiring the company because
So who's doing our weedy lots right now?
there's the crews, the city crews.
Okay, with the added folks that you're proposing for streets and alleys, we'd be able to put how many folks out there?
It'll be a total of 4 on the, I'm sorry, 3 on the alleys and 4 on the streets.
And then that money that we're no longer paying, how much do we have left? Do you know? How much is available for the weedy lots? We put an amount separate. How much do we have available still?
I have like 20-some thousand left,
Okay.
but I still have private properties to mow for the rest of the fiscal year, so most likely I'll end up with on weedy
You say
lots.
private properties, you mean like weedy lots, right?
Yeah,
Lots.
yeah.
All right. So what you have would not go to streets and alleys, just weedy lots, and do you think that's enough?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just, we were hoping to, with the 34,000 that I had in the budget, we were hoping to also mow the alleys. It's just too expensive. I will have run out of money by this month.
Okay.
So we right away, from the first invoice, we suspended the
Okay.
operation. And we
All right.
went back to the city crews.
Thank you.
That's, I think that's the end of the presentation, ma'am.
Okay, and so I want to go back to the organizational chart. First of all, I know that we have something that you've depicted as a 2015, and that organizational chart is incorrect. So I'm hoping that as you're proposing these new, that we put this back as it was intended to be, and as the charter actually talks about the departments. And that is that the city secretary, the city engineer, the city attorney, and municipal court fall under the city commission, not under the city manager. Grants and contracts does fall under you, and then every other department. Now, when we look at council, as we look at setting up the departments, is there anything that we would need to?
Necessarily, we'll look is whether we need to do it through ordinance or through just restructuring of the chart. And I think we can probably just restructure it. But of course, bring it back and you all adopt the way it is. I think you've informed the commission that the money's already there, so I don't think we'll need amendments as far as finances.
That is correct.
So should be able to do it with the amendment.
So
of the
come
chart.
back with the amendment of the chart, and then at that point, you'd be able to do show us the budget amendment that would need to make, or the budget
Should it be
adjustment.
necessary?
Should it be necessary? Or at least tell us where everything's going to be allocated. And then, once we do that, we'd be able, maybe at the next meeting, bring it back?
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes, we'll bring it back on the next meeting.
Are we able to take action right now? Is that just to authorize you to do this, or what
It's
exactly are we?
authorizing me to look into it and restructure it.
And the way it's worded, it's kind of, you're authorizing him to do it. The only problem is, we don't have it to accept it or to
Okay.
adopt it.
This needs
So
to
if
be-
y'all bring it back the next time, just bring it back, y'all can take a vote on the chart.
Okay, then you'll have all the details that we
Yes.
need. Okay, very good. I like the idea, and I guess when we're looking at amount, and I know you put numbers, what is the total number of folks that would fall under streets and under sanitation?
We're looking at, under the sanitation, we're looking at total of 28, and 8 on the streets department, or public works.
Mr. Algona, the ones on the streets, are they in-house employees already, or you're going to hire additional employees?
No, sir, we have 2 in-house already.
you're
We're
gonna
looking
hire-
into hiring additional 2 more.
And are we going to look somebody that has experience on streets?
We're looking for someone that has experience in streets repairs, yes, sir.
And then as soon as we would able to adopt this, then we can go and advertise for the 2 positions, is that correct? Well, I know, but I mean that would need to happen first before. Okay, then I'd really like to see this back at the next week, as you work through that, and I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize him.
I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
What is the salary for sanitation and public works coordinator?
35, if I'm not mistaken, 35 plus.
34, 35? And you're saying that that coordinator would work for both the sanitation department and public works department?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it be more cost-effective to have 1 director and 2 coordinators, 1 for sanitation and 1 for public works?
We could. The only, our recommendation is that if we hire a coordinator to look into the public works, are we going to get somebody that is highly qualified to do that work for the type of money, for 35,000, versus going with maybe the 50, 52, whatever is on the comp plan, that it'll be a little bit more attractive as far as the pay.
But I know the citizens are complaining about the caliche and the potholes, and maybe with the additional funds, we can buy more asphalt with that money.
And if you see, Mr. Ramirez, and that's the, if you look on page, on the last page, currently we have a total of 60,000 plus allocated for the, on that stormwater fee. We're not gonna touch that, and we're gonna use that for asphalt, materials, stuff like that. Equipment, if need be, asphalt, that's something that we're not gonna be touching for the employees or for the equipment or anything like that currently. That's gonna stay there for strictly asphalt.
And how much have we spent so far on asphalt?
And asphalt, Mr., do you have an idea? Mr. Ponce?
It's
Mr. Garza?
you have the December numbers. It's about 43.
40, yeah, 40 plus. Now, if I may, it's not necessarily just the purchasing the asphalt and
Yeah, it's other
overlaying.
things.
It's pretty much improving the drainage so that there's got to be some more prep work before we actually do the overlays or the repaving.
I think what I want to see is the expertise. I think it's extremely important. You know, if what we're doing is not working, we need folks that have the expertise. And if that
Expertise on
means
that.
we got 2 people that are going to head these departments separately to make sure that we got it, I think that's exactly what I want to see. That's what we need to help to retrain our folks that we have and to reevaluate whatever's being done currently so that it can be more effective, more efficient. So I'm looking forward for you to presenting that to us next. Yes, okay. Did you find that number, sir?
About 30,000.
30,000, that's even better. Great. All right, is there any other questions? Not, is there a motion for approval as presented?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Motion passes. Under item F, consider authorizing the city manager to hire 2 additional staff. We just did that.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we didn't do that, but we talked
Right,
about
we
it. Let's
talked
go ahead and
about
take formal action. Consider authorizing the city manager to hire 2 additional staff members for streets and alleys under the stormwater pollution prevention fee as previously approved by the City Commission on October 13th, 2015, at a regular scheduled meeting. Mr. Arjona, is there anything else you need to add than what's been discussed?
No, ma'am.
If not, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item G, discuss and possible action to consider contracting a brush debris hauling company to do a one-time pickup of residential brush debris, which will include the brush debris from the city's brush site on Hall Acres. Mr. Arjona.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor, Commission. Last week, we got visited by the state agency, TCQ, and they pretty much told us that we could not anymore be collecting any more disposal at the, it's not a landfill, it's a brush collection site, and that's because apparently the brush collection, it got a little bit out of hand. The last time that, I think that when we went out for the permit that was issued out to the city, it's called a brush drop-off site. Has nothing to do with landfill nor a citizen collection site. It's strictly for brush. So given that now that we're working on the, trying to clean up that facility, we're looking for an option. We don't have the equipment, the trucks that can go in and say, we're going to clean it up in a couple of weeks or in a month. We don't know with our resources, how long it's going to take. So we're asking that if we can go out on a one-time thing for the city cleanup and also that the brush collection side. And that's what we're asking for.
Now, Mr. Arjona, you mentioned that TCEQ had come to visit, and you've had a meeting with them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I know that when we have discussed these items over the past, during the budgetary time, and even after that, Mr. Gonzalez had mentioned that there was no kind of violations.
That is correct. He
But
did mention that.
we have been visited, and there have been some concerns raised. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
So then, upon that discussion, can you tell us what is it they're stating for us that we need to do? One, are there any fines that have been assessed, and what kind of time frame do we look at?
Right now, there have not been any fines assessed. There are no punitive damages or anything like that. Now, we have not gotten the results back from TCQ, and that's something that we're waiting from them maybe within the next couple of weeks. And one thing that they did say and they did see was that we're taking proactive action as far as cleaning that drop site. The people were very pleased about that we were actually taking action as clearing some of the best that we could and not allowing people coming in and any more drops on the site. So that's what we're working on. And they did say that once all of this is settled and done, they will help us out get another permit, another type of permit, which is called the citizen collection site. And this one is pretty much the same as the county used to do back sometime back, where citizens can go in there and dispose of any type of waste, brush, construction material, but it had to be segregated in some of those roll-off containers. I mean, it's not going to be just go over and dump them at whatever place is available. It had to be on some containers. Once those containers are full, we'll get our trucks and take them over to the landfill. So they'll be working with us on that.
Okay, and what are we currently doing then to
We're
be able
currently,
to
we're
satisfy
currently,
those?
yes, we're currently
demands?
working on taking all of the brush out. We're taking pictures, if I'm not mistaken, and we're collecting all the receipts that are being given to us at the landfill, the Edinburgh landfill. And those are some of the requirements that they're asking from us. Make sure you provide us this proper documentation so that whenever we're asked, this is what we're doing. And if I'm not mistaken, as of yesterday, I think we did a little bit of a dent, maybe about 4 feet, which may not seem like a lot, but it's for our resource, I think it's quite a dent.
Okay, so you talk about contracting a company to come in. So we're looking at we have a deadline with TCEQ, I suppose, that we're needing to meet.
Right, and they didn't give us a time frame yet, but I know that they're going to give us one, and I'm just waiting on that maybe next week or the week after. But for now, we're going to show them that we're taking proactive action, because I visited with them when we visited on that meeting, and I told them that we were coming over before you all, and to hopefully allow us and consider the possibility of going out and seeking for a company to come in and not necessarily only do the drop-off site, but also the alleys. And they were very pleased with that.
Okay, so then it's twofold. We would look at cleaning out the entire drop-off area.
That is correct.
Once and for all. And so then we begin a new way of collecting, correct?
Right.
We're going to have roll-offs.
We're going to have roll-offs.
So that'd be available to the citizens to be able
citizens.
to continue bringing those that wish to continue bringing the brush.
That is correct.
And as far as our collection, we're going to be doing the same thing as we're collecting, put in a roll-off? as we work our own brush?
Yes.
What are we doing differently then?
What we're
to make
currently
sure that
doing
we're
is,
meeting-
we're still collecting the brush.
Yes, yes.
But at the different places where they're actually working on, we're taking a roll-off container over so that we don't have to come over. We do it at that particular quarter, that section.
Sure.
We put the brush there, and if there's any citizens that need to, dispose of any type of brush, we'll send them there. That's where the roll-offs are at. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's maybe one or two a day that we take over to the landfill. A brush, three, yes. A day.
Okay.
So we're not dumping anything anymore at the drop-off site, we're taking out. And at the same time, we're doing that at the quadrants by the citizens area.
And then once we clean that area, we will then put maybe, I'm not sure what they have to be divided in, but we will put the containers at the drop-off site. So we don't have the citizens trying to figure out where you are, but they know to come, and that's where they're going to put them. And now instead of, we're going to be loading them up into the containers.
That is
will
correct.
keep the
And
area
somebody
clean.
will be there to keep an eye on them and direct them as to where they need to go and dispose of their debris or the brush or the construction material, whatever the case may be.
Okay. And then since the company is coming in to more, I guess, effectively have the services to be more effective and efficient, you're talking about wherever our crews is left out, they would do the dump site first and then do a sweep of the city. And then therefore
We can do that, or we can do in conjunction with cleaning the brush side and also cleaning the alleys on this other side.
and we say cleaning the alleys, we're talking about the.
Well, not necessarily the alleys, but the brush on the.
The brush.
On the outside, yes.
So we'll get a quote. We need to go out for quotes, correct?
Right, and one of the recommendations that, as far as Ms. Gonzalez and I were talking about, was that we can get a quote just for the drop-off side, another one for the outside residential area, and then get another one for altogether.
So when
for
you
both
say
of them.
residential, it's like the suite?
The sweep, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do we have a plan for the individuals who, for instance, let's say they start next week and they do a whole complete sweep, okay? If the resident comes back in a day or two and dumps, debris outside in their yard or in the back, is there a plan? How are we gonna tackle that?
Right.
Because I've noticed that, Mr. Soto and their department over there, they're picking up the brush, but I pass by like 2-3 days later, and there's more brush there. They'll just go and dump it there. So,
We got to understand we're behind about 6 months. And we're in February when people like to plant plants and trim their trees. That I believe that we got to give those residents a chance to clean their yards and make sure they trim and just completely clean everything in the city and allow them to do that cutting now, that we're going to have somebody to pick it up and clean out so we could be up to par. Because most of the residents are going to do February is the time that they trim. And we also got to look at the issue of tires, because we're coming to the rainy season, and that's when the health hazard will become, and we'll have the mosquitoes, and we're going to have more problems dealing with those issues. So let's consider those items together and allow people to clean out their residents, and help the committee that's beautifying the city do a lot more and get more excited of helping our city be cleaned up.
Yes, sir.
Good point on the tires. I think, is that something that would be included as
Yes.
we're looking at quotes?
It is going to be included in
Oh,
the,
perfect.
on that particular quotation.
Perfect.
Yes.
Very good. Sounds like a plan. And he's talking about an ordinance. Do we have an existing ordinance?
No, we don't. We don't have an ordinance. We'll work on one.
And then we're going to implement the schedule for every 2 months.
That is correct. That's
Okay.
something that we talked about, Mr. Soto and I.
And we
today.
can do that once we come back with the numbers as far as the amount for the whole city sweep, and we get that done, then we'll be able to start our schedule.
That is
'Cause I remember I had Mr. Gonzalez to begin that, but he talked about cleaning the whole city, and we never
Right.
got to that.
Right.
And that was back November. So
Right.
I want to make sure that when this schedule gets ready to be passed out, that we're ready, and making sure that we're going to keep up with what we're proposing to the community. And then if we talk about, once this gets authorized and brought back, a lot of communication to our citizens. Like yesterday, they still, they're getting used to the garbage pickup. So just continue sending them in our billing way with enough time, and also make sure that we get the accounts at the North Alamo, because I had some folks telling me that they did not receive it through North Alamo, but you all went back and did that. So if we can, once we get this approved, we can start letting the public know with enough anticipation, at least 2 months, so that they're ready and know that this is going to happen. We may not be able to wait 2 months, because if TCEQ comes back with a shorter deadline, we're going to be ready, but at least what is the quickest way that we can inform them?
Mayor,
As well,
legal
yes.
counsel, is there any way that we can speed up this process, due to it could become a hazard to our residents? Is there any way that we can look at it, how we can?
Commissioner, as far as getting somebody?
Oh, well, if we're gonna wait for bids, or we have to, is there any other ways that we can look at it?
You don't have to, it's a kind of a health and safety issue, so you don't have to do competitive bidding. It's outside of the, chapter 252 or 62, whatever it is. It's exempt from competitive bidding. Y'all can move pretty quick on this. Y'all can start whenever y'all want to, either through whatever's fastest. Contacting company, quotes, whatever. It is not a competitive bidding,
Item.
item.
So she could get quotes.
Yeah.
And then just shows the quotes without having to go out and,
You don't have to go post it, you don't have
Gotcha.
to put it in the newspaper, you don't have to do any of that. It's exempt from competitive bidding.
Very
because
good.
It's health and safety.
It is also considered like an emergency type of deal that would allow us to do that.
okay,
So by the next meeting, you'll have the quotes and.
Yes.
by
and the
Tuesday's
amount.
meeting. Very good.
Where do you plan to get the funding for this?
The funding, it's what's allocated in the sanitation fund, sir.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second?
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Presentation on department reports. Anybody have any questions for the departments? If not, we'll move on under public hearings. A, hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance in first reading for a conditional use permit to operate a social event center in a commercial property for the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption as proposed by Belia's Ballroom, legally described as 5-acre tract of land out of Lot 11, Block 5, John Clausner subdivision, located approximately 250 feet north of FM 495 along the east side of Veterans Boulevard, as requested by Belia Garcia. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, I'm applying for a conditional use permit to operate a social event center in a commercial area and for the sale of alcoholic beverages at the proposed Belia's Ballroom. She is in the process of subdividing the property into 2 commercial lots that will allow her to build an enclosed social event center in Lot 1 and a commercial plaza in Lot 2. Ms. Garcia is proposing to build an approximately 120,000 square foot ballroom building in the back of the property with parking, that's the correct slide. With parking and landscaping areas in the front along Veterans Boulevard. The proposed hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. with alcohol sales for on-premise consumption within those times as allowed by Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Staff mail notices, and we got no complaints during the public hearing with the Planning and Zoning Commission or letters. Staff recommends approval contingent to the conditions listed in the ordinance. The project, once completed, will generate substantial property tax in the community. During their Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of January 7th, the commission voted 3-2 in approval, but which proposed the changes on the hours of operation.
I'd like to go ahead and open this public hearing at 7:41. Are there any members of the public who have any comments for or against? Any members of the public that have any comments for or against?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Arturo Garcia. I'm the project engineer on this project.
Good evening.
Good evening. Ms. Garcia will be investing well over $1 million with considering the purchase of the property, the proposed public and private improvements. This project, like Mr. Cervantes said, will generate property tax and sales tax for the city. It'll promote local growth of the businesses. We're asking for favorable consideration in our request. We're here to answer any questions or concerns that you may have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public have any questions? Any, not, well, questions, any? Can you come over to the microphone, please?
Mayor, members of the commissioners, my name is Pedro Contreras. You said there was a 3-2 vote with the,
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to hear their concerns, at least the 2 people voted against.
The 3 that voted for the change in they didn't like the sale of alcoholic beverage until 2 o'clock in the morning. So they recommended different hours for the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption. The 3 that voted that way, they recommended
from 12
to 12 on Monday through Wednesday, and from 12 to 1 a.m. Thursday through Sunday. And we had 2 commissioners against that they should allow what the applicants want.
Thank you.
What is the norm?
Some other ballrooms, they sell until 2 o'clock. And so that's their argument is if you impose these hours on us, is we have an unfair competition with the other ballrooms.
It's 2 o'clock if you have a liquor license,
Yes,
am I correct?
they have special permits
Yeah.
that will allow them to sell for on-premise consumption until 2 o'clock in the morning. It's an additional expense for them with the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission.
And now if it's just beer, it's what, 12 or 1?
No, it's
almost 2.
If we It's-
buy the extra permit, it will be till 2.
Okay, okay,
but
thank
the
you.
proposal is beer and wine.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions, for or against from the public? Any other discussions? What I like to, as we're looking at this, for what we need to be is consistent, okay? Consistency, as I've seen in past these licenses, is that at least the Sunday ends at midnight.
Yes, we have done that with the different bars. We had lowered on Sundays until midnight, and the bars have agreed in the past. So yes, we have done that in the past 2-3 years.
I'd like to be consistent in that way. Now, as far as other halls that we have or ballrooms that we have, do they all have different hours? Or is this reflective of what we normally?
They're different, but some do sell until 2 o'clock in the morning.
So the proposal here is, that's come to us from the board, the recommendation is that Monday, the final recommendation, there was a vote against, the ones that voted against, I guess that the motion didn't pass.
It was a split vote, 3-2.
Okay.
The 2 dissenting votes were in favor of the applicants to sell until 2 o'clock in the morning.
And 3 were against?
Yes, were.
So is it coming to us as a referral, what the 3 have requested? What the 3 have approved, which would be the Monday through Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 a.m.?
Yes.
Thursday through Sunday would be, I'm sorry, Monday through Wednesday is from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m., and Thursday through Sunday is from 12 p.m. to 2 a.m., is that correct?
That's what the majority.
That's what's coming to us.
That's what the majority of the Planning and Zoning
It's coming
Commission
to
is
us.
recommending.
Okay. I'd like to ask the commission to consider the Sunday to go as we've done in the others, and that Sunday it stop at midnight.
Night, yes, we have done that with the bars in the past 3 years. Are you in agreement on Sundays limiting it to midnight? Yes. Yes.
All right, any other questions? Yes, sir, you can come to the microphone, please.
Mayor Commission, just wanted to address an issue also. I don't know if they cover it, but we also are recommending that they have video surveillance cameras on the outside on these buildings. Okay,
Yes,
just
sir.
wanted to share that's part of the requirement.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
there's a list of requirements in the ordinance, and that's one of the requirements.
Very good, thank you. Anything else? What now? I don't have that answer.
Haven't closed the public hearing.
We're still, did you want to make a comment, is that what you're saying? Can you come to the microphone, please?
My name is Polo. Something just occurred. At 12, if you stop, you got 2 hours to sober. If you keep drinking in 2 hours, how drunk can you get more? So that's something to think about.
Sure.
The safety of our citizens. Even though people are coming from somewhere else, we live here, we spend more time here, so probability we're going to be in an accident.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public, for or against? All right, I'd like to go ahead and close this this public hearing at 7:47. Is there a motion for approval with, I just wanted to add, with the Sunday
Till midnight.
ending at midnight? So it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Under item B, I like, public hearing, consider the ordinance for the first reading for conditional use permit for the sale of alcohol beverages on on-premise consumption at the proposed Wingstop restaurant at a property legally described as Lot 3, Courtney subdivision located 826 West US Business 83 by request of John Claude Ortiz. Mr.
Yes,
Cervantes.
Mr. Ortiz is applying for, also for a conditional use permit for the sale of alcoholic beverages, being wine and beer for on-premise consumption at the proposed Wingstop restaurant, where Aaron's rentals used to be. The proposed days and hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., with alcohol sales for on-premise consumption within those times allowed by the ABC. We sent notices within 200 feet. We got no complaints from the neighborhood. The project will generate property and sales taxes for the community, and Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval unanimously, subject to the ordinance requirements.
Very good. I'd like to go ahead and open this public hearing at 7:48. Are there any comments from the public for or against? Do you want to come forward, sir? Sure.
Hector Segura, originator from Pinitos, Texas, and I've been working for the company for 10 years. And, Wingstop is a, opportunity of job and everything, so the alcohol, we've never had any problems with it. It's strictly from operation hours 11 to 12 at midnight. It's just no hard alcohol or liquor, it's just beer. We do have a 3-beer limit, and then, if they'll purchase a 6-piece combo or more, then we'll give it extended to a 4-beer limit. And, we are TABC certified, our cashiers, it's a requirement to be TABC certified, food safety and stuff like that. We do know how to train our cashiers to physically see them, verbally, It is a family restaurant, so it's not a full-size bar. So we want to keep it as a family restaurant. Our tables are so close to our little mini bar, so, we don't want any bad language, vulgar stuff like that. And if, anybody has any questions or anything, opportunities, I'm here to answer anything.
Any questions? You'll have the salt and lemon flavored ones?
We'll have it there. We'll have, the only thing we don't do is main events, pay-per-view or anything like that, it's
Well,
just.
we're excited that you're coming into town.
Yeah, we're excited as well. We have a lot of applications, a lot of high school kids, and that's one of the things I want to share, that, it's a great thing for high school kids, college kids, they get distracted. Having a job is a responsibility, and instead of being out there looking for easy money, just, get a job and start working life,
That's awesome. How many people will you be employing?
People, we'll start about from roughly about 20 to 28 employees, and then we'll skim it down all the way to 16. We do start, I can say, all the way to 30 employees, where we have different shifts, different trainings, and then some staff it is for them, some it's not for them, But in an average, it's about 16 to 18 employees, including 3 shift leaders, managers, and general managers.
Fantastic. That sounds really great. Any questions?
All I know that my 7-year-old's gonna flip when he hears the good news. Because when you ask him what's his favorite food, and he says Wingstop. So.
We just opened up one in Pinitas, and it's just amazing. Every place we open up, it's just, we get a real good feedback. I guess, the only thing that negative about it would be, everybody trying to apply at the same time and not everybody having a good chance of it, or the capacity, or you should have built it a lot bigger. And then the first.
That's a good situation.
Yes.
That's a good problem.
The first weeks is just, we'll get hit. I mean, when we expect all of you guys to show up there and have a meal with us or share a meal with us.
Yeah, after the meetings, we won't go too far. Be close.
Yeah, and I mean, there is like a 10%, 15% discount we'll be providing, for, at a first time city employees, officers and stuff like that. And the first time, we'll be handing out business cards and, discounts or meals for, we want to invite the public.
Sure.
We might, or even talking with the owner of having it a one-day thing. Well, we won't be open to the public. We've done it in the previous Wingstops. It was just a day for the city, a day for the fire department, a day for the police department. And we've done it in the Westico, Pinitas, Mission, Rio Grande City. We've done it, and it's just, a couple of hours where we invite the city, and it's just open to the city staff. And it's so you guys can know the location, the parking lot, around the area, so you guys can be more familiar with it.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Any other comments? Go ahead, come forward, please.
Evening, my name is Cesar Lozano. I'm the construction manager for
Good
John
evening.
Ortiz. We're making a lot of improvements to the building itself. We're upgrading the lighting outside. We're going to 100% LEDs. And we repaved the asphalt on the whole parking lot. Everything's gonna get striped. And we're doing a nice facade to the actual building, which put in some stone. We did a little pergola in the front, which y'all can see if y'all drive by. So we're just trying to make it look good for the city so that we can have a lot of customers.
Excellent. That sounds great.
Thank you.
That pile of debris that's in the back, is that part of what you did?
As a matter of fact, the debris does not belong to us. It's a separate owner. I have made one call, but I'm waiting to see maybe another week or so, see if somebody can go out there and clean it up. I think I saw the owner there. I think he's a Mexican national because he had Mexican plates and he was taking pictures. And I believe that was the owner of the property. Maybe he's working on a plan to clean it up.
Maybe we can help through the planning to locate.
Okay. Yeah,
to,
we have a trash dumpster for our purposes. We have a dumpster out there, which with the city of San Juan that gets serviced. So we don't have debris out in the lot or anything. Okay, and going back to a question that was asked a little while ago about the cameras, we will have the surveillance cameras around the building and inside the actual restaurant.
Excellent. Thank
Thank you.
you. No other questions? I'd like to go ahead and close this public hearing at 7:54. Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations and welcome to the city of San Juan.
Thank you.
Under appointments, A, consider the nomination for the city of San Juan to the 2016 Rio Grande Walk of Fame as requested by the city of Hidalgo. I know Ms.
I'll do it, ma'am.
Go ahead, Mr. Arjona.
Yes, we received an invitation from the city of Hidalgo and states that the city of San Juan has participated in the Rio Grande Valley Walk of Fame since 2005. The city has participated every year since then, and the time has come for the city to nominate a representative for 2016. The Rio Grande Walk of Fame at the State Farm Arena was created as part of the 2005 Border Fest festivals. The City of Hidalgo Border Fest Association, Hidalgo Chamber of Commerce, and City of Hidalgo Texas Municipal Facilities Corporation created the Rio Grande Valley Walk of Fame at the State Farm Arena. New inductees in the walk will be unveiled during the Border Fest 2016, celebrating Brazil. People from all walks of life are inducted into the walk. The walk celebrates the life, achievements, and significant civic contributions of outstanding men and women to communities in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas. Recommendation is nominating individual from the city of San Juan to the 2016 Rio Grande Walk of Fame as requested by the city of Hidalgo.
Thank you, Mr. Arjona. I'd like to nominate Tomas Cruz. I've tried for the past 5 years. He is one of our city employees, now retired. He actually worked for the city for over 42 years. From the time that he got out of high school to the time that he retired, his whole life was dedicated to working for our community, endless hours, beyond what the work was. And I know that he, as a single parent, made it a point to show work ethic, not just to his kids, but also to those that work with him. And if there's something that we ever have a program that goes down our computers because there's no way to track, we can call Tomas. He knows where everything's at. And I think because of that dedication, because he is just an example of what truly being a servant, even just through his work, but also through his contribution, I'd like to nominate Tomas Cruz, ex-city employee, retired city employee, for this walk.
Second motion.
I didn't make it, I just kind of, you want to make a motion?
We'll make the motion to approve Tomas Cruz.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Under item B, consider removal and appointment of a board of directors related to the San Juan Economic Development Corporation. Mr. Arjona, well, actually, you don't need to talk on this one. We've put it on the agenda for appointments
Mayor.
regarding those that are expiring and those.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
For the expire terms, I'd like to nominate, to appoint Adriana Salazar, Eddie Rodriguez, Dolores Barrientos, and for the unexpired terms, removing Oscar Salinas and appointing Pedro Contreras, For unexpired term for Pete Garcia, removing Pete Garcia and appointing Eddie Garcia. For the unexpired term for Luis Santillan, replacing him with Ruben Navarro.
It has been moved. Is there a motion, second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes. Under item C, consider the appointment of a member of the City of San Juan Commission to the San Juan Economic Development Corporation Board as the city's ex officio.
Mayor, I would like to make a nomination to appoint the mayor, San Juanita Sanchez, to the EDC board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Appreciate the appointments. Under item D, consider adopting and keep San Juan Beautiful Board bylaws by Mr. Munoz. Are you present?
He's not here, Mayor.
Okay, should we pass on this one?
For the next one, yes.
Thank you. No action?
No action.
Under E, consider the approval of the budget amendment reflecting the fiscal year 2015-2016 grant award with Ms. Chanel Borrego. Ms. Borrego.
Commission.
Good
Fiscal
evening.
year 15 and 16, our budget was approved in October 2015, but we weren't awarded these grants until after the fact in November 2015 through January 2016. They included Operation Stone Garden, Local Border Star Security, Justice Assistance Grants, Homeland Security Grants, FEMA Public Assistance Grants, New Freedom Project Grants, for a total of $462,451. In order to have this reflected on the budget and to begin expending the amount, this amendment must be approved.
Very good. And that's been in 1 year, right?
Yes.
Congratulations on all y'all that do those applications. Is there a motion for approval? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any opposed, same sign. G, consider the, no, I'm on F. Consider resolution authorizing the City of San Juan to submit a contract application to the Texas Parks and Wildlife under the Community Outdoor Outreach Program, co-op solicitation. Ms. Borrego.
Yes, the Community Outdoor Outreach Program grant provides funding to local governments and nonprofit organizations for programming that introduces underserved populations to environmental and conservation programs. The program requires no match and provides a maximum of $50,000. The City of San Juan and PSJA have collaborated in the creation of an outdoor environmental education program titled Camp Native, which stands for Nature Adventures for Teaching and Improving Our Valley Environment. The sustainable year-long program is expected to serve over 250 at-risk and underprivileged elementary-age youth by providing a series of weekend, all-expense-paid field trips to local state and national parks. Program participants will have an opportunity to participate in birdwatching, camping, nature photography, geocaching, archery, and outdoor education classes hosted by a certified park ranger and chaperoned by PSJ teachers and volunteers. Each activity will be grade level appropriate and incorporate a TEAC STAR educational curriculum to increase academic performance in STEM subjects. Participants will also be introduced to careers in the field of natural resource as they learn about each park site's day-to-day functions and participates in outdoor service projects to beautify our public-owned parks. PSJ has already submitted a letter of commitment and will provide transportation for the program. Grant funds will be used to purchase equipment and supplies not provided by the park site, which includes additional cameras, archery kits, camping equipment, snacks, water bottles, and T-shirts for all 250 participants. By increasing outdoor recreation opportunities for local youth and the use of TPWD program and facilities, we expect to foster awareness and responsible actions towards wildlife and natural resources, as well as encourage future generations to partake in similar outdoor programs. The application was submitted yesterday. We requested $33,866, and we will be matching with $22,000, a portion that's coming out of San Juan funds, but it's already program operations through Parks and Rec. And then the other portion, which was the majority of it, is coming from the actual parks because they're donating, they're waiving entrance fees, they're providing the programs at no cost to the city. So that's what the match consisted of.
Very good. So it's all already been
Everything's good,
allocated.
everything's submitted. We should hear from them in May to see if we were awarded.
Very good. Any questions?
Is it going to target San Juan students or?
It's going to be all PSJ students, elementary students, so whether they're from FAR, Alamo, or San Juan, they're allowed to be in the program for free.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item G, authorizing the City of San Juan to submit an application for funding to the Office of the Governor Homeland Security Division for the City of San Juan Emergency Response Enhancements Project. Ms. Borrego?
Yes, Homeland is soliciting applications for projects that support state and local efforts to minimize damage from natural disasters. The application requires no match funds. Seeing as the Rio Grande Valley is vulnerable to natural disasters such as hurricanes and tropical storms, the San Juan Fire Department is submitting an application to purchase one submersible water pump valued at $33,000. The pump will enhance our response capabilities during natural disasters affecting the city of San Juan and our surrounding communities. The pump will be readily available to surrounding communities, therefore providing services across jurisdictional lines and enabling the RGV to operate effectively together. This resolution must be passed in order to submit the application.
All right, are there any questions? If not, is there a motion for approval?
So move.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. H, consider resolution authorizing the City of San Juan to submit an application for funding to the Office of the Governor Homeland Security Division for the City of San Juan Law Enforcement Emergency Regional Response Team, which is ALERT Enhancement Project. Ms. Borrego.
Yes, aside from the fire department, the police department will also an application. The application will be used for the prevention of terrorist attacks and criminal enterprises from operating successfully in Texas. Seeing as the Rio Grande Valley is a high-threat area, making it vulnerable to terrorism, transnational gang activity, and violent crimes, the San Juan PD is submitting an application for funding for the regional SWAT unit called the Law Enforcement Emergency Regional Response Team, also known as ALERT, which comprises of 15 agencies across the RGV. ALERT is requesting $20,000 to purchase one firearm training simulator. The application requires no match funds. The simulator will provide reality-based training scenarios which will aid ALERT and other agencies in recognizing threats and making decisions involving the use of firearms and tasers during hostile situations. ALERT currently provides an average of over 1,000 hours of free training to state and federal agencies per year. If funded, the simulator will be readily available to surrounding communities, therefore providing services across jurisdictional lines. I also like to add that ALERT has, since 2010, has received over $250,000 in grant funds. Those grant funds have allowed them to operate within Hidalgo, Cameron County, Starr County, Willisey County, Jim Wells County, and Brooks County. They are also one of the 3 regional response teams in the entire RGV.
Any questions? If not, motion for approval as presented.
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Borrego.
No problem, thank you.
Item I, consider resolution to approve the water line access agreement between the North Alamo Water Supply Corporation and the City of San Juan and Mr. Jesus Quiroz. Mr. Cervantes.
A building permit for a use sales business was issued on February 26, 2015. One of the building permit requirements was the installation of a fire hydrant to properly protect the building and people in case of a fire. The fire hydrant was installed as required. The property is within North Alamo Water Supply service area, and North Alamo Water Supply requires this agreement. Actually, this hydrant is already there. They missed requiring it before the installation, but they still want the agreement.
Okay, so they already have
The hydrant is already there.
so it's just a matter of going back
It's
and
a
ratifying
formality,
it.
yes, it's a formality, because they went through their records and they didn't see the agreement for that hydrant, and they want an agreement. For each hydrant that is installed in North Alamo service area, they want an agreement,
Okay.
so.
Are there any questions? Not, is there a motion for approval?
So move.
Second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item J, consider authorizing the planning director to work on the naming of a service road just north of the railroad tracks for 9/11 purposes. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, residents along the north side of the railroad tracks between the irrigation canal and Cesar Chavez Road are having problems with ambulance service due to the fact that those properties do not have access to a dedicated city street. Some of the properties have US Business 83 addresses, but since they are located along the north side of the tracks, emergency personnel have a hard time finding them. Recently, a meeting took place with personnel from the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, the 911 department, who agreed that a solution to the problem will be to assign the service drive along the north side of the tracks that allows the owners to access their property as street name, and to allow the property owners to change their address to the assigned name. Possible names, keep going, please. For this road, the 911, they want both streets to be the same name.
Okay.
And one of them is, as you know, is you have Project Azteca, you have Lupe, or the Lupe organization. So a name could be Lupe, or it could be Railroad Drive, as long as both.
It has to be the same, though.
Yes, and they have to follow our numbering system for
So you're
for
looking to
addresses.
you want authorizations to look for names, or do you want
To
authorization?
start the process.
Okay,
The part of the process is to have a public meeting with the property owners to run the idea by them.
okay,
They will have to change their address,
sure.
but there's an elderly person that lives north of the tracks, just west of Stewart, and she needs ambulance services constantly. The ambulance cannot find them.
What are we gonna be able to do for them on the road itself?
The road is not a dedicated city street, so we will not be able to pave it because it's not a city property. What happens is, there it is. It's an access, they have an access easement. It's private property. So all we will be doing is putting a name to it. We will put a street sign, but it will remain their property.
Nothing that we can do to have that dedicated?
We could, yes, we could pursue getting the owners to dedicate that property as a city street. So there's papers that they will have to sign dedicating the property to the city. If they all do it, then we could turn around and pave it in the future.
Because I know that our vehicles go in there also. in the event.
Yes, well, it's an access easement between them to access their property.
Right.
We have a similar situation on Mint Drive, which
Yes.
is, and it's exactly the same
Off of
situation.
yes.
It's an access easement, but there you do have a street sign, and the people have Mint
There's a
addresses.
way to identify them, yeah.
So the ambulance can find them, but here
They can't.
and here, the ambulance cannot find these people.
Do we have to have
And
any
they-
type of, clearance through the railroad company? Do we encroach, we're not encroaching
We're
on
not
anything?
encroaching, no.
All right, and how many houses does it impact on this side?
It's about 5 houses
Five.
over here.
And the other one is
one
just a-
house over here.
Okay, and then the whole area, the whole projects, the whole,
Well, Proyectos Tech, I don't think is going to affect them because I think they have a Cesar Chavez address. There's just
Okay.
one, there's just one house
just
over
the
here.
house that has to go through?
Yes.
I got you,
And over here, there's like 5 or 6. This is where we have the problem, where they ask for our help.
okay.
They
Yeah,
ask-
that's very important. The sooner we get
Yeah,
to it, the better.
because, I mean, in an
Absolutely.
emergency, every minute counts.
Okay. Alrighty, is there a motion for approval as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Any preferences on the name?
Just
Whatever
bring
they,
it
whatever
back.
they,
Bring it back with some suggestions.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Chief.
On that, when we get emergency calls for that elderly female that you're talking about, for us, it comes out 800 blocks east of the state.
yes. I checked with 911. One of these houses has a 83 address, but the others do not come out in the system for 911,
Okay.
and they can't find them.
So you're going to come back with us, these are the numbers, and then each
The-
house is on a separate,
The next step is to have a public meeting with the
Okay.
owners and propose
sure.
this idea.
Okay.
And it will involve for them to change their address, and if they're willing to do it, then I'll come back with a resolution.
All right.
to
Ask
name
them
to-
to what they think that should be named.
Well, I hope,
You could just ask them.
I'll ask him.
Lupe might tell you Dolores Huerta.
It's-
You got Cesar
uh,
Chavez
That's a,
in there.
that's a good name. That's a good name.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking for suggestions. The 2 ideas that I have is Lupe or Railroad, but it could be something else, as long as they have the same
Yeah, sure.
name.
All righty, sir. We already moved in second on this one, so you'll come back with us as soon as you get those public hearings going. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, A, consider adoption of the resolution establishing the budget for fiscal year 2016 of the Hidalgo County Urban County Program. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, you have a resolution before you for the year 9, which is 2016 of the Urban County Program. We had a meeting on this in November where we adopted the budget, so now it's just a resolution that shows how much we're spending for administration, for street improvements, and for public services. And if you remember, this is, we're repaving Coconut, Pulling,
Cooper and
Salazar.
Salazar.
Yes, we're repaving those streets with these funds.
Very good. And those become available July the 1st, is that correct?
I checked with Urban County, these the package of this package with all the other cities. They go to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. They approve it in September. And then after that, there's an environmental assessment that takes a few months. So if everything goes according to schedule, we will go out for bids on this project January or February of next year.
Very good. Is there a motion for approval as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Under consent agenda A, collection report for December 31st, 2015, budget expenditure report December 31st, 2015, and then C, consider the second and final reading of an ordinance for the rezoning request of a single-family residential to general business for a lot on 11 Block 5 John Klausner subdivision located on 200 feet north FM 495 East Side Veterans Boulevard. And that's it. Is there any item that needs to be pulled? I'm just going to discuss the expenditures with Mr. Garza very briefly. I really appreciate the way that you put that together and how you are using the budgeting, at least for the first quarter, and reminding us we should at least be at 25% as we're looking at our items. And I know you're communicating these with the department heads. They're all aware of where they're at. Is that correct?
That is correct, especially on the ones that are pretty high on the percent.
And those are the ones I want to talk about, Mr. Garza.
Okay,
And I
sounds
think,
good.
you know, the first one be under the, I think the more significant one was the, under finance, well, this is one of yours, under finance. It's a 3,000 accounts, but it's at 55,000. 55%, I'm sorry.
You're on page.
I'm on page number 2.
Number 2.
Sir.
Okay, there's an encumbrance balance of $1,020.
Okay.
That it's actually affecting the year to date. I can check what this encumbered balance is for, because I don't have that information.
On planning, for the purchase and the professional and technical services, that's already expended up to 76%. And we're at 34% of planning budget.
That's another one. They have a yearly PO on that one, and that's a yearly PO for clothing and uniforms.
Okay.
Of $1,700.
Police,
Police.
we have one, purchases of professional and technical services, it's already at 105%.
I can check into that one because I don't have the information. I noticed that they have a PO open, a yearly PO for psychological and polygraphy tests for $1,300.
So we have, Chief, do you have any insight into what that would be? It's under police purchase professional and technical services. You budgeted 38,500. We're at 31,600 for a total expenditure already of a 105 plus an encumbrance. There's an encumbrance as well.
I need to check on that, Mayor. I don't know exactly what that.
Okay,
line
you can
item
do
is.
that and get with Mr.
Sure.
Garza. You put that together to send
Sure
it
do.
to us for
Okay.
answering. Thank you. Under fire, supplies, there also is an encumbrance. We're at 52%. From 77 that is allocated, 34,000 has been spent. Can you tell me what that is?
On the supplies, it includes several things. It includes $4,000 on fuel.
Okay.
12,000 on a variance of motor fuel, 1,700 on clothing and uniforms, 2,000 for repairs and maintenance, and 12,000 for road material.
So those are one-time purchases that are done ahead of time? Is that what is at the beginning of the year?
No, those are actually expenses, year-to-date expenses. Whatever it's being encumbered, it's just the 6,600. And that's probably for the whole year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's just a one-liner that says streets and alleys and other, but it says 63, is that 63% belonging to the fire? No, it can't be. You see that one line all by itself?
3%.
I don't know what that belongs to.
Yeah, that actually belongs to the Streets and Alleys Department.
Oh, in a different area.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention to page 4.
Uh-huh.
Human resource. It's just the same thing, technical services. And am I to think that we do those at the beginning of the year? That's why we expended 85% to 88% of those? Is that what happens? And that carries you for the whole year because you don't have much left. Okay. Under sanitation, page 6. It's a miscellaneous, Mr. Garza,
Yes, ma'am.
74%. Do we know what that is? 74% on that?
We already encumbered 389,000, which is probably a yearly PO. Do you know what that is, Carmen? 389,000?
I would have to know the line item. I only
Okay.
know them by line item.
You'll look into that for us, please?
Sure.
Under utility, it's a good thing. It's a revenue. It's at 169, though, %. Page 7. Says revenue.
Oh, yeah, 61,000. I can check on that one, too.
Okay.
169%.
Yeah, that's on the revenue side, so I'm not concerned. I think it's great. But we got to figure out why are we getting so much.
Okay, sounds good.
Under the billing utility, we are at a miscellaneous at 108%.
On page, okay.
Same page, sir.
That's, we paid 6,000 on a radio license renewal, and the ETS merchant service fees.
That's the encumbrance of 12?
Correct.
Okay. Underwater plant, 264% under capital outlay.
Those are engineering services.
They're what?
Engineering services, and there's an encumbered balance of 58,000.
And that's coming from our budget? Is that coming from the project awarded, or?
I can check what the allocation is on that.
Because we put 25 and
On the budget.
we've uncovered 58,000. So that amount would have come because that's how much the project's going to pay the engineer?
Yes, probably.
Okay. Can you get that information also, please?
Sure.
Under sewer plant,
Mm-hmm.
miscellaneous, I don't know what that depicts, but it says it's at 102%. Page 8.
It's related to the sludge removal.
Okay.
And analysis. And there's an encumbered balance of 15,000.
Okay, so it's a one-time thing that we do, and we're paying that off.
Correct.
Okay. And then under the EDC, we have 189,000. This is on page 26. It says other revenue for 189,637. Do we know what that's about?
On this one, there was a sale of a property, I believe.
Do we know what property that was?
I don't have that.
Mr. Rodriguez? Okay, then we need to figure out what that money is.
Okay.
Now, we don't reflect the accounts, that Compass Bank accounts in this statement? Mr.
No,
Rodriguez?
actually, that's presented on the balance sheet, with the balance sheet information.
And that's going to have the accounts and the expenses and how that's funded through a balance sheet, is what you're saying?
No, it's
No.
just going to have the balance on the cash account.
Okay, so we need to go through the EDC to find out what's going on with that one.
Correct.
Okay. And then under EDC, we have miscellaneous, it seems to be the same amount, but a little bit different, 18207, and I believe that is under expenditures. Do we know what that is, Mr. Rodriguez? Okay, can you get that for us, please? That's all I have. If you can provide those answers to all of us. Are there anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Garza.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry, we need to accept the consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So move.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned at 8:22.